Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live at the home studio. We are back live at the home studio. Can you get more excited? I know I can't. I cannot tell you how happy I am to be home. Been on the road for 2 weeks straight. Not an easy feat, but it's just good. No, people, it's just good to be home. It's good to be home. Rory, good to see you here, man. But I am joined today for a double stream where we will be talking about the Barcelona game and reviewing that. And then we will be previewing the West Ham game. I hope you're ready because the forehead is back. It's Matthew McFadden. How you doing, my friend?
I would say I'm good, but yeah, I'm not really. Dissertation's due. So less said about that, the better.
Listen, like I already said, the greatest forehead in the land can only do great things. So you're going to be fine. I guarantee you all the F's in the chat right now for Matthew because he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Unless you're a United.
I mean, that makes all of us.
I mean, listen, Matthew, you're going to be good, man. I can promise that. Oof. And just so you guys know, I might be giving some reaction. I've got Newcastle and Leicester in the background. Good stuff. Good stuff. But Matthew, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into this because we've got a lot to talk about. Barcelona. We played them at home. We lost 1-0. And like we were just talking about right before we went live, if you were to have said, just talked about the stats in general, hearing no shots on target, at home to Barcelona, you'd probably think we didn't have a good game. But we really did. We really did actually do pretty decent in that game from everything that has been shown and everything that you look at in terms of just by watching it. So, Matthew, go ahead. Talk to me about the game.
Look, it wasn't a worst performance in the world. It was definitely, I don't know if I can say an improvement because we still lost. We lost. But the thing is, we made Barcelona look average. Like, we stopped, one of the best teams in the world from playing their game, and we reduced them to get to having to rely on an own goal to beat us. Which, if someone was to offer me that in the first leg, I would have said, I still wouldn't have taken it because it's a loss, but I would have said, okay, fair enough. Like, at least it actually gives us something to fight for in the second leg. I thought, I was going to say everyone was good, apart from one guy, and it's number one fans in the comments, so I'm sure he's going to be absolutely raving about him. But I thought Scott McTominay on that day, that was his best performance by an absolute mile. And it was exactly like what we kind of see from Darren Fletcher in a way that, yeah, he might not be the greatest player in the world, but in a big game, he just seems to be so well suited for it.
And we, from what we talked about, Matthew, like talking about it after the game, because I texted you because I didn't get the chance to watch the game. I only really listened to it. And I was like, so was Scott McTominay as good as everybody's making him out to be? And you literally said, if that's not our midfield three for all the big games for the rest of the year, then we riot. So that says everything you need to know.
Now, Scott McTominay was just, it was another big game in which he was one of the standout players. It was a case of, like, I'm pretty sure it was in the first 10 minutes of the second half. We just reduced Barcelona to go long ball. And every single time he tried and did that, it'd either be Smalling that would head it away or McTominay that would just press the life out of the midfielders. And it was just so fun to see. So fun to see Barcelona's, like, identity, what they are as a team, just being completely stripped in Old Trafford. Just a shame that, Lukaku did nothing in Marcus Rashford. It was back to Marcus Rashford under Jose, by the looks of it. He snatched at so many chances. I think there was a couple of good chances, particularly one in the box where he volleyed it, but he hit it with his knee accidentally, which should have gone in, or should have at least got on target. Below missed an absolute sitter. And then, we might as well get to the right wing back himself, Ashley Young. I don't even know what to say about him. It was 11 crosses he tried, and he completed none of them.
Well,
now, you can normally say, oh yeah, that could be due to the fact that people aren't making enough runs or whatever. No, it was crossing. It was genuinely horrendous crossing. He couldn't pass 5 yards. He couldn't beat a man defensively. I'll be honest, right? Defensively, he wasn't hopeless because we didn't see too much from Coutinho. But defensively, again, like he wasn't great, but he wasn't too bad. But just going forward, he was just awful.
Mm.
I don't quite think as bad as that Wolverhampton game, but it will get way more attention because it's against Barcelona, because it's a much bigger game. And I saw a couple of watch-alongs of it, and people are saying, like, would he even get into like a top tier championship side? He probably wouldn't. And there was rival fans. I remember I was watching one stream, and there was a rival fan who was watching it as well, and he was saying, before this game, I didn't really see what all the abuse towards Ashley Young was about. Now I see it. He's hopeless. And it was just a case of every single time he got in the ball, he just messed up so badly.
Well,
and for some reason, a lot of the times he would do either one or two things when he's in a deep position. He'd either try and play his way out of trouble and fail at that, or he'd just go long ball for the sake of it. It was just so frustrating to see.
And Matthew, the meme that's circulating right now of the FIFA Ashley Young, where it's like Ashley Young on the counter and then he just literally skyrockets across over everybody. That is literally the definition of Ashley Young.
I'm at the point now where I want Valencia back.
Dude,
it takes a lot to say that. It takes a lot to say that. The step over merchant himself. But at least he'd actually come into the team with something to play for. Like, we know he's leaving it into the season. He wants to maybe end on a high. Just give him a couple of games, or even Matteo Darmian.
Oh, dude, I was literally thinking, like, going into this match, I was like, maybe we should give Darmian a chance because, I mean, being realistic, defensively, he's sound. I mean, we saw him when he played center back for Ollie, that he actually was pretty decent playing center back. And then, end of the day, his crossing can't be any worse than Ashley Young. That's facts.
I don't think anyone's crossing is worse than Ashley Young's. Like any of us as well. I'm pretty sure we can put in a better ball in the box. It was just everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong for Ashley Young. I think the only positive that I can kind of take was at least he didn't get a red card. Which, to be fair, actually probably would have been a positive because it would have been he wasn't on the pitch. And then there was one time. There was one time, I think, it was late on in the game where the final sub was made. Oh, no, it wasn't the final sub, it was the second sub. And there was Lingard coming on, we were thinking, right, thank God for that. Ashley Young's going to come off. We're going to put Delo's wing as the right back. Delo came off. And it was, like, some of Ole's substitutions are questionable at best. I'll say that, like, I still absolutely love the guy, but his substitutions at times were absolutely questionable. And I saw that one, I thought, why are you just not bringing off Ashley Young? He's clearly having an absolute howler here. Why are you keeping him on? And I don't get this whole sort of he's captain material kind of thing. There's a difference between being at the club or being in football for a long time and being a captain. Ashley Young to me just doesn't seem like a leader.
And in all honesty, Matthew, I think the only reason why we leave Ashley Young as the captain is because we've tried giving it to Pogba, and like people criticize when Pogba has it. Granted, people criticize the fact that Ashley Young have it, but you look at everybody, and I really believe the only reason why he's got it is because he's got the experience. He's been at Manchester United for longer than anybody else, and been playing for us for longer than most people, and I genuinely believe that's the only reason why. Jay Hart did say, let's not forget, we will be expecting Young at left back if Rojo can't play, which isn't Ashley Young also suspended for the next 2 games or 3 games because he got a red card?
So, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, is that 2-game suspension or just the 1 game? I thought Luke misses the next 2 games because he got 10 yellow cards.
So no, it was. I don't know exactly what it is because he did get. It was a second yellow, and I don't know how the second yellow thing works. I don't know if it's just 1 game or if it's multiple games.
I'm pretty sure it's just the 1 game. I might be wrong though, considering it's late on in the season and the rules kind of change occasionally.
Yeah.
But whatever one it is, at least West Ham game, we're not going to see him on the pitch, and that is something to look forward to.
Yeah, and you're honestly, it makes me want to just be like, hey, Evra, do you want to come back and play for a little bit? Like, just give us a game too.
Tell you what, Tracy Everett would be a better right back than Ashley Young.
Matthew, I would be a better right back than Ashley Young. I'm old. I'm younger than him by 3 years. I'm fat, but I've got a beautiful ginger beard, and I've got a right foot. So, I mean, I can't be any worse.
I mean, he's not lying. He's not lying whatsoever.
We only deal with facts in 2019, Matthew. I don't know how many times we have to say this to the people. We out here in 2019 only dealing with facts. We only deal in facts on the Red Bearded Red channel.
I'm right with it. But anyways, apart from that absolute disease, Fred, I want to give a special shout out to Fred. I've said it a lot of times. The doping merchant himself. He actually did well. He actually did very, very well. And not just very well, but really well. Like, that was probably his best game in a Man United shirt. Like, he seemed to be working well with McTominay.
That combination does seem to go well together, don't they?
Like, you've got Fred, who's a sort of smaller, typically, with quotation marks, weaker player, who's just going to screen the back four, sit in front of them, pick up the ball, and then break the opponent's press. And he just seems to be really good at that. And then you've got McTominay as more sort of that, combative, annoying central midfielder. So that kind of partnership seems to be working at the moment. Obviously, in the new season, you want better players, but right now, given the squad that we have and given the fact that Herrera's out, Matic shouldn't be anywhere near the squad, continue with those players. Pogba as well on the day had some good moments in the first half. I thought he had a very good. The second half kind of went a bit anonymous, which is pretty much what we've expected of him since I think Fulham. So nothing really new there.
And Rory, just so you know, we'll get into the game, the West Ham game here in just a second. We're going to finish talking about the Barcelona game before we jump into that. But I will ask him that question when we come to doing the West Ham preview. Bobby Light, Bobby said Ollie should have played Young as a winger, which, in fairness, I mean, it kind of is what he's doing, at that right back spot, and he's just. It's just my opinion, Bobby. I mean, we welcome all opinions here, but you look at what Ashley Young is doing, and nothing that he is doing is currently helping the squad. Like, it could be down to form, it could be down to multiple things, but this has been going on for a very, very long time that he has not been very good at making crosses. I mean, it genuinely, like, we talk about Antonio Valencia being horrible at crosses. But the one thing we can give Antonio Valencia at least a little bit of credit for is that it seems like whenever he actually goes to his off foot on his left foot, it seems like he could put on a decent cross, which is the weirdest thing in the world. It's like he takes all the power out of the cross and just is like, oh, it's going to wind up right at the guy. So I don't know, man. I have a feeling that Matic will be back against West Ham. J Hart, I probably am going to agree with you on that. Then George Kyle said, Young had the freedom of Manchester to try and hit the low-flying pigeons as part of his revenge for one in his mouth. Jesus, George. Oh, man. But, Matthew, I mean, do we want to do ratings really quick and just kind of burn through them?
Yeah, we'll get through them quickly.
Okay, yeah, because like you said, I want to try and keep this relatively short, considering the fact that we've got 2 games we're trying to get through. But people, if you want to get your match ratings read out on the show, get them in with us as we go through the players, and you will have your ratings read out. Promise you that. But Matthew, let's start with the guy. As always, David De Gea. I don't really think you can put the goal down to him. I'm not going to put any fault on him. So how do you rate David De Gea today?
I think he made one good save against Coutinho, and apart from that, really didn't have much to do because we just kept Messi absolutely anonymous, which is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So David De Gea, 6 out of 10, I guess.
I was
just a standard game, really.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was going to give him just a standard 6 out of 10 as well. Just, I mean, he really didn't have much to do. I mean, and like the thing you can always say about Dave is that like he's really not going to make many stupid decisions. So, I mean, ultimately, he'll make the easy saves always, and you can't really ask for much more than that. Let me see here real quick. I did want to see. So Doug did say, so Barcelona looked dodgy playing it from the back, and they hated the high press, couldn't deal with United's high press. Doug, you were absolutely right on that, my man. When United pressed them, I mean, they definitely seemed to be. I think the right word would just be surprised. And Mad Marcus, it is good to see you here, man. Good to see you. But so Dan said 6, made the decent save with his foot, but didn't have much to do. Jay Hart said De Gea 7. He made a couple of good saves. That one with his foot gave us a chance for the away game. George Kyle did say De Gea incredible with his feet at saving the ball, which, I mean, that's the one thing I think people don't give De Gea enough credit for, because we often see goalkeepers try and get down quickly and try and save the ball with their hands instead of doing what Dave does and save the ball with his feet. Dave does that all the time. All the time. And it's something I don't think that he gets enough credit for. So we'll give him all the credit in the world on this channel. How about that? Then Mo said De Gea 5, poor distribution beginning to stand out as we try to play from the back against the press. Which, Mo, in fairness, I mean, he's only going to get better with time. And, now that we're playing with a manager that's going to require that from him, we will likely see him start to get better and better at that. So, got to give him time. He still is, in terms of a just pure goalkeeper, he is the best goalkeeper in the world. There's no debate on it. None. If you try and tell me anybody else, you're wrong. Sorry. Like I said, we only deal with facts on the Red Bearded Red channel. So, yeah. Our pace on the break caused problems with PK and Len are slow. JR said we should start Martial and Rashford from the start. We should have seen Martial and Rashford from the start. Could have made a few good counters. I mean, you're not wrong on that, Jay Hart. That challenge he made when Martial was coming through was goal saving, Matthew. Yeah. I mean, talking about PK. But Matthew, let's go ahead and move on to George Kyle's favorite player in the world, Ashley Young.
Like I said, right? I don't know if him not getting sent off is a good thing or a bad thing. So I'm going to level it out and give him a very fair and balanced 1 out of 10.
It's a very fair and balanced score, Matthew. Very fair and balanced. I am going to give him a 1 out of 10 too.
It was embarrassing, and you kind of feel sorry for him because he doesn't pick him; it's Ole who picks him. And hopefully, after this absolute howler in the last couple of games, Ole actually comes to his senses and says, "Oh yeah, Ashley Young's not that great. Let's start another fullback."
It's got to literally play anybody else there. I get that. Like the last time we played Eric Bailly as a right back, throw the quotes around that, he really didn't look good out there. But I mean, in fairness, you can only get better if you play there. So literally play anybody else there. Anybody else. Because I think, you know what? I'm game. Remember the time when Lingard played right back for Mourinho? It was like it was a sub. He came on as a sub and played right back.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was against. I've forgotten exactly what game it is, but I remember that, and he actually did really well.
Yeah,
it was in like a back three. Yeah.
You know what? Let's play Lingard at right back. I'm game. I mean, he can't do any worse.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing. Is like I look at it now, and it's just like you can't do any worse. So I mean, and people are going to start the rumors of a right back coming into Manchester United are really going to get strong here, guys. And I honestly believe that we are looking at the likelihood that Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be coming to Manchester United in the summer, because I do not believe that we can continue to allow what is going on at the right back position to continue to go on. No offense to Delo, but I don't know if I believe him to be a right back. It just like I said, I like to try and be as fair and balanced as possible. And I look at him and I just am. I don't know. I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can be a right back. Now, granted, he is 19. He's got time to develop. So I'm not going to try and be too harsh on him. But at the end of the day, I don't know if he can do it. And when you've got somebody like Juan Bissaka that could be available in the summer, you got to go for him. I think you've got to go for him. So real quick, get through everybody's ratings. So I see zeros. I see lots of zeros. I do see a -5. So George Kyle said 0. Mo said 0. JR said Young doesn't deserve a rating from him. Hey, you know what? I like it. Dan said Young -5. Better not see him at United in a United shirt again. We can only hope, Dan. Have we had a good youth right back we could play? I'm sure we do. I think that is it Ethan Laird?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I'll give him a chance. Like I said, sign me up. I'll play for like 10K a week. I mean,
10K a week.
Yeah, 10K a week. That's it.
I wouldn't last long in the squad with that.
But, bargain.
I'll pay 10K a week.
Bargain, Matthew. I'm a bargain here at 10K a week. Just the beard alone will become a fan favorite.
Exactly.
We like I said,
still they sell beards, like fake big red beards.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine? That'll be the new top selling item in the shop, in the megastore.
Ed Woodward, if you're watching, you're probably not, but if you're watching, sign the boy up.
Yeah. You've got merchandise guaranteed. I thought that you're a businessman. Like, real talk. Jay Hart with the RB greater than red beard. Are you saying RB red beard? Listen, you've got it built in. It's built there. Seriously. Come on.
Except RB is right back as well. Red beard is RB.
Listen.
Some confirmed kind of shit right here.
There is too many coincidences there, Matthew. Too many. But let's go ahead. Oh Jesus, Matthew. We move on to do you want to do Chris Smalling next or Lindelof next?
I'm fine with any. Might as well do both of them. Just talk about both.
Oh, why not? You know what? That can make it quicker too, because they both were pretty good on the day. I think we can say that they were both pretty good on the day.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of tempted to give Chris Smalling 15 out of 10 for what he did to Messi. I know you shouldn't really wish injury on the player, but I just don't like him. I just don't like Messi. I've seen him so timid in Old Trafford because of what Smalling did to him. Can't help but absolutely love it. Exactly as George says, his best moment was going through Messi. And you know what? All the jokes and memes aside, it was actually really good. Because we forced the long ball out of Barcelona from the centre-backs, Piqué and Longley, they just had to go long ball all the time. And you can't really do that up against a team with like Coutinho, Messi, etc. So Chris Smalling just intersecting everything.
The one thing that Chris Smalling is really good at is headers. We talk about it all the time. He is always good at headers. Now, you do worry about him with getting cards, but
Oh yeah, next season is completely screwed in the Premier League because he'll just target shots all the time. But at least now, where we don't have VAR and Wales, he's somewhat of a useful squad player. Let's just enjoy it.
Yeah. I still think that he's going to be a backup, by the way, Matthew. I do think that he will still be a backup.
Oh, no doubt about it. In terms of rating, I'd probably give him an 8 out of 10. 7 out of 10 based on performance, 8 out of 10 for that Messi thing.
I like it.
So, Lindelof next. He looked a little bit shaky at times, but it wasn't really anything too bad. There was that one, heart in your mouth moment where he flicked the ball on to, I've forgotten exactly who it was. Might have been Coutinho for that shot that De Gea saved. I'm probably wrong, but I think people have known what I'm talking about when he flicked it onto a Barcelona attacker. And I think most of us at that point thought, oh great, this is going to be 2-0 here. But luckily it wasn't. I don't really think he made too many bad errors. And to be fair, at times you didn't hear much from him, which is normally a good thing for a defender. So for that, I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10 or maybe a 7 if I'm generous.
You know what? I'm just going to be generous to both. We'll just say 7 because being realistic, I mean, the fact that there wasn't a clean sheet on the day really isn't on them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 7 out of 10 for both. I think it makes it so you also have a nice even rating for the both of them. And after a 1 from Young, I mean, you got to go with some positivity, right? Smalling was fouling all over Suarez, and the ref gave nothing. Well, George, that's because Luis Suarez is a prick, and nobody likes him. Like, I don't even think Luis Suarez's own mom likes him.
I'm actually quite disappointed at how little booze I had on TV. Like, don't get me wrong, they were boozed, but they went too much. I don't think it was bad as Di Maria.
No, oh God, no. But that's also because Di Maria, I mean, I think that a lot of fans don't like the fact that he basically used Manchester United, and I can get behind that one.
PSG. But I tell you what, like that was a terrible game to go to. But that was the best moment of it, just booing Di Maria every single time we got on the ball.
That was pretty amazing, wasn't it?
And him getting shoved into the advertising boards.
Vince Russo did say Smalling thought it was WrestleMania.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll tell you what, about the WWE.
I mean, he had a future. I mean, that whole vegan thing, you could probably make an argument could be a gimmick.
Could have been in the main event of WrestleMania 35.
Future. We're talking the future now, Matthew. Let's see here. So Dan Jones said Smalling 8 for me, Lindelof 6. Thought he was kind of average. Smalling and Lindelof 7 from Vince Russo. Smalling's best moment was going through Messi. Yeah, George, that was a pretty good moment. Mo said Victor and Smalling 7. Smalling still not good enough for me. I mean, Mo, I completely agree with you. JR said, I give Smalling a 7. He defended well against Messi and Suarez. Let's see here. He didn't get a yellow for that elbow, though, so VAR may not be a hindrance to him. Jay Hart, you bring a good point on there. Just the one thing that I think that is going to be different about VAR in the Champions League to the Premier League is that I think the Premier League actually reviews it privately. Do they not, Matthew?
I've got no idea because it's not been tested in the Premier League yet.
Well, the actual Jamie Vardy just missed an absolute sitter that Tielemans put on a freaking plate for him.
What's the score?
It's 1-0 Newcastle. I mean, Matthew, it was literally, it could not have been put on more of a plate.
Just going to chip tonight.
Oh my goodness. Let's see here. I despise Suarez. Jake, a lot of people despise Suarez, in fairness. Let's see here. Anybody else? I do not see any other ratings. So, Matthew, we move on to the guy that caused the one goal that was scored in the game. Unfortunately, it was just in the wrong goal. Luke Shaw. Go ahead. Give me your rating for him.
You know what, right? I actually thought he was good. But you can't really blame him for that own goal. It's just a case of Suarez didn't hit off him. So you can't really put too much blame on him. Having to play in that kind of outside centre-back role that I don't think we've ever seen from him, he actually did really well. And I think it was particularly him and Fred who are responsible for absolutely pocketing Messi. So you've got to actually give him some credit. I'd probably give him a 7 out of 10, to be honest. Defensively, again, he was quite good. Wasn't too amazing, but wasn't too bad at the same time. It was just a really solid game for him, which is probably even better because he was playing in a pretty unfamiliar role.
Yeah. Like that.
Although, forgot about that, his second yellow card. Or not a second yellow card, but the yellow card that makes it so that he doesn't play in the next round. That could have been avoided.
Yeah, that does suck. You know, and we will I think it was George that was mentioning the fact that we'll have Young playing left back in the Champions League now. So it does mean we'll get Delo at right back. I mean, and who knows? Maybe Young he will step up in left back and actually be able to put on a cross because that whole changeover of the foot thing. I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic here, people. Trying to be optimistic.
Starting 11 and get himself on the bench where he belongs.
I mean, fingers crossed, Matthew. Fingers crossed. But I mean, I'm going to give Shaw a 6. I mean, I'm just going to go with he was average. I mean, that's the best thing I could say. And, you know, ultimately, so there was something. I think it was George just said it. Yeah, it was George that, and I'm starting to notice it more. Is that Luke Shaw gets a lot of yellow cards, and it's just from his lack of. I don't know if it's a lack of concentration or what it is, but the fact that he's got an accumulated yellow cards for the Premier League, and then he's also now got the same deal with the Champions League. I mean, it says a lot, and so I'm just going to give him a 6, just so that way, hopefully, he'll stop getting so many yellows. I'm just going to go with that. Let's see here. So Mo said he's giving Shaw a 7. George said Shaw, for me, he's overrated. He gets so many yellows because it's not clean enough in his tackles. 5. Dan said Shaw 7 for me. Vince said Shaw 4. No clue why he had to play as a center back. Don't completely disagree, Vince. Mo, and listen, he was up against Messi. You're right about that. Dan, I'm trying to be optimistic in 2019. Am I not? I've been trying. No, Young had played left back last season, had zero cross accuracy there also. George, listen, trying to be optimistic, man. Trying. It was a terrible game for Shaw, not suited for a left center back. He only made tackles left and right, but can't help up front. That's a great point, Jay Hart. Let's see here. Shaw's first goal in the Champions League is an own goal. Is he Jones in the making? That's pretty good, Jay Hart. Chris McTee, good to see you. And then I do not see anybody else. So Matthew, we move up the pitch. We go to Fred, who arguably was man of the match. It was either going to be him or Scott McTominay for many people. So how do you rate Fred today?
I think you might be forgetting about a certain Diogo Dalot, who played as left wing back.
Well, I was.
I don't know if you want later.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. We could just do the 5 at the back. I mean, I was planning on trying to go more like with. I don't know. I know what I was thinking with it, but yeah. So you go with Dalot first.
Right, Dalot. I think it was mentioned perfectly by. I think it was Saeed in the player rating show. I'm pretty sure he did. It was Fred, and that it was just such a mixed bag for him.
Mm.
Like there was some really good moments, some shaky moments like that header that he really should have, at the very least, got on target. I think it was a bit frustrating for us as fans watching him, not necessarily because of a lack of ability. It was just the fact that because he's having to play in the left wing, he pretty much had that entire space of the pitch to himself, which means that he was going forward a lot more than usual.
Mm.
And every time he was looking to cut inside, but then he did that, and the centre back and I think it was Piqué and Semedo, but I think were on the right hand side of the pitch in terms of the defence, with most of what he was doing. So it's a little bit predictable on that front. But for me, I think in general he played an okay game. He had some really good moments, but again had some poor moments. So 6 out of 10.
Well, I mean, you talked about the sitter of a header that he missed. That really was made a big deal of on the as I was listening to the game. I mean, you cannot miss a wide open header. It was very reminiscent of the header that Lingard missed against Wolves. Like you have to do better. So let's see here. I probably should give my rating. So Dalot, I'm going to give him a 6. How about that? Because you miss an open sitter. I mean, a sitter of a header. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too nice. No, I'm going to give him a 5 because you should do better. Do better. I get it. You're 19, but do better. Let's see here. Vince Russo said Dalot 6 would have gotten a 7 if he did better on the header. Yeah, at least put it on target, Vince. Dan Jones said Dalot 6 for me. Completely agree. He was on and off. Mo said Semedo outplayed Dalot, but Dalot kept coming back at him. Missed an open goal, 5. George said City spent $100 million on their fullbacks. That is what we have to do unless we want to get a great deal on the light great deal on one like Liverpool did with Robertson from Hull. I mean, George, that's a fantastic point. Let's see here. Jay Hart said Delos seemed too nervous in that game, hesitated a lot. I give him a 5-2. I mean, Vince, Ollie's still got to work out some kinks. I mean, that's true. I mean, it's different managing a club of Manchester United size than it is managing one like Mold. It's just the truth. So he's got to work out some kinks in himself too. So give him some time. We got to be patient with him. But I'm going to give him the full 3 years to work it fully out. So let's see here. We go ahead, we move on because I don't see anybody else's ratings. So, Matthew, now we move on to Fred, who, again, like I was saying, I mean, everything that everybody has talked about is it was either going to be Fred or McTominay that was going to win man of the match. So, how do you rate Fred?
In terms of a rating, I'm going to give him one less than McTominay. So, spoiler alert, he gets an 8 out of 10 from me.
Oof.
Like I said before, he's just picking up the ball from deep, breaking the opponent's press, and just playing, decent, simple passes. What it was just so good to see. He doesn't have to, do a 3-point turn to change direction like Matt. Matt just turns like the ball right now. It's unbelievable how slow he is. But with Fred, you actually get that quick, agile player. And it was just so easy. So Fred, for me, I mean, he was probably the one who pocketed Messi the most. Like, for those who watched the game, Messi was pretty much playing alongside Busquets half the time because he just couldn't do anything up front. And it's just so unlike Messi. Like, normally you'd expect him maybe to have a little bit more of a quiet game or something, an absolute moment of magic. But no, every single time Messi got pretty much near either Fred or McTominay, they just shut him down. And it was like that for most of the Barcelona attackers. So Fred, for me, gets an 8.
And
it's good to see him not make a mistake. Because like I said in the past, Fred seems very, very staged. Like, he seems like he's got stage fright in terms of once he makes one mistake, it will just go all the way downhill from there. But he didn't actually make a mistake for that to happen. So, to be fair to him, 8 out of 10 probably.
So listen, I mean, I thought about just trying to be different from you, Matthew. I did. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give Big Scott McTominay the man of the match too. So I'll give Fred an 8. Fred was all over the pitch. I can't tell you how many times on the broadcast I heard Fred's name's talked about, which says a lot. And it wasn't in a negative way. It was in a positive way. Talking about how basically all I heard was how he was breaking up the play and then, doing things to get teammates the ball. And of everybody that in our midfield, Pogba had the worst game, which you never would have thought. Which, I mean, in fairness to Pogba, he was the only creative midfielder we had out there. So I'm not going to try and be too harsh on him because whether you like it or not, Scott McTominay and Fred being alongside you, they don't have those creative juices like Pogba has. But the fact that they opened up so much of the game, it says a lot about the two. And I really do hope that they get the start in this next game against West Ham. So I'll like I said, I'll go ahead and give him an 8. So let's see here. Fred was immense. 8. He's our CDM over Matic all day. Mo, we can only hope. Dan said Fred 8 for me. He's going to come good. I hope so, Dan. I really do. I agree. I thought Fred was assured and confident, deserves an 8. Vince Russo said 9, man of the match. When our back line was beaten, Fred was there. However, we can't play him and McTominay at the same time because they're both grafters, not creators. Vince, I mean, that's exactly what I was just saying. It's like you have to have an additional guy that is at least creative in that midfield to make it so people can't just single out Pogba for the creativity. Mo said Shaw had him for pace and quickness, and Fred swept him up. Oh, they're talking about Messi. Both Fred and McTominay get an 8 for me, but man of the match for McTominay for that run around against Vidal. That was pretty cool, Jay Hart. I feel sorry you with all your work, so you can't watch some of the games, Andrew. George, listen, I mean, that's part of the whole thing of the games are during the midweek. They're at a weird time. Like if they were early in the morning, like they are during the weekends, I'd be able to watch them because I'd be able to just wake up early and watch. But we're talking about these Champions League matches now are starting at noon here. That's the middle of the workday for us here. So the best I can do is be able to listen, which does suck, but it is what it is. Thoughts on whether you would take Cruz if he's available for $50 million this summer with their clear out? I mean, for $50 million, George, I mean, it'd be hard to turn him down with Ander Herrera leaving. I mean, Matthew, do you agree?
$50 million for him. I mean, he's 30 years old. You'll probably get maybe 2 seasons out of him. I don't know for $50 million.
$50 million seems like a lot, but like that's the thing is like it's still Tony Cruz.
It's a lot considering Real Madrid paid 25 for him.
That's a good point. That is a good point. But it would be hard to turn him down, but at the same time, like I don't know. I'd have to see. I'd wait till the summer. I'd wait till the summer and see who's available and see who's being talked about. How about that?
I would have taken a Toni Kroos that was at not Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, because he was one of my favourite players just watching him because he'd bang in so many long shots and it was just so fun to see. But Real Madrid, I think this season in particular, he's just been on a massive decline. Kind of like Real Madrid as a whole, but I don't know really. He wouldn't be my first choice. Let's just say that.
Let me put it this way. If you told me I could have Ruben Neves or Toni Kroos, even if it meant paying $100 million for Ruben Neves, all day long, Ruben Neves.
Yeah.
All day long. So, 1 second, guys. I got to text wifey.
Priorities. Right, I'll probably just go into the next player.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
thank you, Matthew.
I don't know. I'm getting more professional here. I'll probably mute myself in about 2 minutes. Right, McTominay. I mean, what a boy! I've criticised him so much recently. I've just said he's the most nothing player I've ever seen. And to be fair, like he's still yet to establish himself as a proper, really good Premier League midfielder. I tell you what, in the big games, he just seems to do it so well. He was an absolute nuisance for that Barcelona midfield. I didn't hear Rakicic's name mentioned once. Pretty much because Scott McTominay was just all over that midfield. It was just fun to see. And if I'm giving him a rating, I've got to give him one more than Fred because he was my personal man of the match. So 9 out of 10 for me.
So
that is first time I've been excited about a Scottish player.
I was about to say, so basically you're telling me the man crush is becoming more real. Got it. But real talk, guys. I mean, we've talked about it all the time here, and I really hope that Scott McTominay does become a regular first team player for Manchester United, because that's the dream, to have our own players, our own youth academy players, become the stars of the future. That's the dream. So I want Scott to become good. I have my doubts about whether he could become the future of that position for us. Because if you were to, you look at the talent that he has, and it's still not on the same level as a lot of people out there. You could do better than Scott McTominay. It's just the truth. So I want him to be good. I do, and it's awesome to see him play well. But at the end of the day, I think you could still do better than Scott McTominay. So I don't want to get overhyped about him right now. I want him to stay at Manchester United. And like I said, I still hope he becomes this future of the position. And with more game time, he becomes better and better. So I don't know. But either way, Scott McTominay for this match, I'm giving him a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. And that says a lot because of how well he did for us. What he did to be able to break up the play. And we already talked about the fact that that little go around he had on Vidal was amazing. And just Scott's a young player living the dream of playing for Manchester United. You can't hate on that. You just can't. How the hell did Newcastle win that game? J Hart, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see here. But let's go ahead. Let's get to your guys' ratings. Dan said McTominay 9.5, almost perfect performance. First time Matthew sounds excited about a Scottish player, said Jay Hart. Hold up, Rakitic played. Nah, I'm being serious. Dan, I mean, I'm surprised too. Arthur did nothing.
He actually asked that. I genuinely had to check with myself. Did he actually play?
I mean,
because I genuinely didn't hear his name being mentioned once. He was probably the most anonymous player in the pitch.
I mean, yeah. You're not wrong, Matthew. Arthur did nothing as well. Thought he was supposed to be the new Iniesta, but he was anonymous. Mo said McTominay 8, very good display. King of everything said Nick Sauce. Arthur impressed in the first 15 minutes, but he didn't do anything after that. Vince Russo said McTominay 8 if he develops creativity. He will be the perfect right central mid. George said McTominay was a 9, held on to the ball expertly, tenacious in the midfield, tenacious in the tackle, my man of the match. Don't think his so George said, agree with you, Andrew. Don't think his ceiling is high enough for us to win trophies with him starting. And George, that's exactly how I feel. Our Greenwood and Gomez in the squad for the Hammers game. I am what I am. I do not know. I haven't seen any rumors about the squad for tomorrow yet. Barca played so bad, to be honest. We missed a chance to win. Vince, you're not wrong on that. We certainly did miss a chance to win. So we move on to Paul Pogba, and I want to try and breeze past Paul Pogba because he didn't have the worst game in the world, but I really do feel like him having another creative presence in that midfield would have been a huge help. So Matthew, how do you rate Paul Pogba?
Like I said earlier, I thought he was good in the first half. We seem to be looking to him for most of a creative outlet. And it seemed to have kind of worked occasionally. We just didn't see enough movement from Rashford and Lukaku, who, to be honest, I even forgot was starting there because he just did nothing. But in the second half, he kind of played differently. He was rather, starting the counter-attacks by himself, like picking the ball up from deep and then, progressing with it like another 30 yards, something, winning fouls. He won a ton of free kicks. But there was just a little bit of ill-discipline from him quite near the end of the game when there was that messy free kick. Just in it was where I think pretty much the whole world of football thought, yeah, this is going in now. We've not seen Messi one bit apart from that good assist. We've not seen Messi one bit. He's been given, an absolute golden ticket here to get himself a goal. And luckily for him, he didn't score it. Because I think if he had scored that, Paul Pogba would have gone absolutely ripped to shreds on social media. And to be honest, fair enough. Because it was such an unnecessary tackle. He didn't need to do it. He didn't need to foul his man. And it was just stupid from him. But nah, I thought he was okay. Like, it wasn't his most... I'm trying to think of the words. He wasn't as involved as maybe like McTominay and Fred were. But I didn't think he did too badly. So I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10. I think it was just a case of the other two men far better.
Yeah, like just... McTominay and Fred really did put in amazing performances. So I honestly believe that if Pogba had put in if he had put in a Pogba level performance of what they put in on the day, I really believe that we probably would have won that match pretty easily. Because of how poor Barcelona were on the day. Now that's just my opinion, but end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's all about opinion. So for me, I'm going to give Pogba a 7, just to be a little bit more positive. He did what he could with having the midfield that he had, and then also considering the fact that he had Lukaku and Rashford up front in the game who really didn't do great. But I'll give him a 7. So let's see here. Mo said Pogba 8. He was the best midfielder on the park, but got swamped. Hence McTominay and Fred having space to play. Yeah, Mo, exactly. Teams do love to double team Paul Pogba. That is for sure. Dan said Pogba 6 for me. Liked low. He was on and off. George said I thought Pogba played very well, but then again I am Pogba FC. 8 out of 10. Thought he should have gotten Busquets sent off. Pogba 7. He pressed he pressed well. Unlucky that the striker had no movement. As soon as Martial came on, he played better, and don't blame him if he leaves. To be honest, I mean, Vince, I don't see him leaving yet. I just don't. But I mean, at the same time, I'll say this now just so you guys can hear it, because I mean, I'm sure we'll be asked about it a million times. But if we're offered 150, 200 million for Paul Pogba, I mean, I wouldn't be too upset to see him leave, because you can go buy two midfielders that are really high quality for that much money. You just can. So as much as I don't want to see him go, if he did for that much money, you're telling me you can go get somebody like Verratti and then maybe go get another midfielder like Ndombele, like Ndidi. I mean, I know Ruben Neves would probably be a little bit of additional money on top of that, but if we can go get two midfielders like that for that price, it'd be kind of hard to say no. Just saying. Like I said, I don't want Paul Pogba to go. I've got a Paul Pogba kit, and I don't want to see that go to waste. But I would just love to see Paul Pogba here with another creative midfielder alongside him before we really get too judgmental on him. Let's see here. J Hart said, "I give Pogba a 6. He needs a partner in crime up front. Lukaku is not it." Yeah, J Hart, that's an understatement. Vandy Candy said Pog average, and been average for a fair few games. It doesn't help when you are set up for a counterattack and the opposition takes it easily, leading 1-0. Pogba, Neves, Tielemans, or Fred, Neves, Fernandez midfield next season. Definitely Pogba, Neves, Tielemans. That's just for me, Matthew. What would you say to that?
I was looking at that, and I'd probably say those three, because they've all got experience in the Premier League.
Yep, that's exactly it.
But that Fernandez boy, he's an absolute sun-boy supper, so he is. I think he's broken the record. I'm not sure if it's all time or just this season, most amount of goals from a midfielder. Like, yeah, it's in the Portuguese league, and you can say what you want about that league, but he's absolutely torn it to shreds, I think. I'm pretty sure it was at like Udinese in Italy or whatever, and he just didn't do that well. And then as soon as he went to Sporting, he just banged in the goals. And from the little games I've seen, he just seems to absolutely run games.
That's exactly what's talked about, Matthew. But you know what? We're not here to talk about the rumors and stuff like that. We're here to talk about the rest of this game. So, Matthew, I kind of feel like, again, for the partnership that was up front, I feel like we could talk about Rashford and Lukaku in the same light. Do you?
Yeah, pretty much. I think, and we should probably get to it as quickly as possible, because I've just seen the time.
Yeah, I know. We're going a lot longer than I thought, Matthew.
But yeah, so Lukaku and Rashford, I think Rashford was more involved in the game.
Yes.
Doubt. But when you're more involved, the chances on you missing some absolute sitters is going to be increased. And that was the case with Rashford. Like, his final ball is, final ball, final pass, final run, and shooting was just atrocious. So you really can't give him more than a 5 out of 10. Same goes for Lukaku, just because he didn't do anything. Like, Lukaku was just completely anonymous as well. And I don't really think any of the subs, when they came on as well, did really that much. So in terms of Rashford, Lukaku, and the rest of the subs, I give them all 5 out of 10.
Yeah, and listen, I'm gonna be the same way. I was gonna give them all 5 out of 10. When you have a game against Barcelona where we are doing what we're doing now, granted, we all can talk about how bad Ashley Young was and how he was literally a hindrance to the team. At the end of the day, you need your big time players to step up in games like this, and hopefully they do on the road, because I have a feeling we'll see a relatively similar lineup on the road. Relatively similar. So I'm going to give them both a 5 out of 10, and I really hope that they start really showing up and we get back to moments like this back in Barcelona. That's the hope. Let's see here. Another disappointing performance for Rashford. He needs to really step up, because at this moment, yeah, he doesn't deserve a $300K contract. J Hart, I honestly think that has to be fake, because there's no way that Rashford deserves $300K a week. Facts. Facts. He does not deserve $300K a week. Rashford forced Alaba to stay back, push their line back, and allowed us to pretty effectively. When he went to the left, then came off, they pushed back up and controlled the game. And then Nou Camp, we will have to be as clinical as we were and George, absolutely right on that. But I'm not really seeing anybody. Oh, so Dan did say Lukaku and Rashford both get 5s. Seems like, honestly, I think most people would agree it's probably just 5s for the both of them. So Matthew, let's go ahead and let's wrap up. Final thoughts on that.
All I'll say is, right, the tie's not over.
It's not.
Nope. If there's anyone on this set who knows about a Champions League comeback at the Nou Camp, it's only himself.
It's Ollie himself, and it's Manchester United. Let's be real here. Exactly. It's Manchester United. I am not ruling us out of going on to the next round yet. But I will tell you this: if you were to tell me you could go on to the next round of the Champions League, and you're not guaranteed to go to the final, but you're guaranteed to go on to the next round, or you're guaranteed to get top 4 by going out now, I'll take top 4 all day long.
I'd take top 4, but there's something special about a good Champions League run.
There is.
Considering the manner in which we'd have to do it again, I'm kind of undecided, if I'm honest. I mean, I would probably rather on the surface be in the Champions League next season, but I don't know. I just kind of want to see another comeback.
And I am what I am. Barca is very beatable. That is a fact.
Yeah, they are. And a postseason an absolute belter of a stat, one that the man himself, Doug, would be proud of. Wednesday night was the 6th time in Champions League history that Barcelona's won the Champions League, or the 6th time in European football history that Barcelona won a CL quarterfinal away leg.
Wow.
That's since club football began.
That's pretty impressive. That is a stat right there, my friend.
Yep.
But Matthew, we go ahead and we move on. We're going to do a preview for you now of the West Ham game. And we won't be very long with it because ultimately I think this is where Manchester United get back to their winning ways, and they better get back to their winning ways because it's starting to get a little worrisome that we're having this many losses in a row. So Matthew, hey, playing all those farmers, George. I mean, don't tell me, don't even get started with me. But Matthew, let's go ahead and let's talk about people that are to be worried about for West Ham.
Felipe Anderson, that's about it, really.
I'm sorry, what was that, Matthew?
I was saying it's Felipe Anderson, and that's about it. Like with West Ham, they just seem to have such a hot and cold team. Like one week they'll be absolutely amazing and they'll win a game 4-0. Jason Anderson hat-trick and another goal from like Arnautovic or whatever. And then the next game they can lose 6-2. They're just so weird. Yeah, Arnautovic as well is probably a bit of a threat. Declan Rice seems to be having a good season. It's kind of break.
Chicharito, don't forget about Chicharito.
Him as well, although he's not exactly had the best time at West Ham.
No.
That's a given. But apart from that, there's really no one on that team who really strikes fear into me. I think it should be interesting who we start right back because they're going to be directly up against Felipe Anderson. And luckily, it's not going to be Ashley Young, so at least there's a bit of positivity there.
Yeah,
but in terms of the West Ham, there's just no one really who really strikes any fear into me.
J Hart did say, "I'll bet Fabianski will become world class." It happens to every goalkeeper at Old Trafford. Yeah, does seem so, doesn't it, J Hart? 240. So Matthew, I mean, just so you can hear some stats, Felipe Anderson has 8 goals on the season. He is West Ham's leading goal scorer. Then Marko Arnautovic, Chicharito both have 7. And then the next goal scorer, Michael Antonio, has 4. So that says a lot about their goal scoring. And then assist-wise, I mean, Snodgrass has 5 assists. Then Felipe Anderson has 4. And then Michael Antonio has 3. But then Felipe Anderson is basically at the top of their list for almost everything of a relevant stat. I mean, he's got 73 tackles. Declan Rice is only ahead of him by 12, and that's Declan Rice has got 85 tackles. He's got 1,404 passes. Next closest person is Declan Rice with 1,327. I mean, I'm just looking through this list, and it's basically just all the Felipe Anderson show. So Felipe Anderson is somebody that we need to be worried about, obviously. Declan Rice will be an interesting one to watch. A lot of people have been talking about him recently and about him coming to Manchester United. So it will be interesting to see how he performs at Old Trafford. Arnautovic is also with somebody to be that's a threat. Can pop up with a goal, and he does seem to love to pop up with a goal against Manchester United. But ultimately, I mean, this is a game we should be going into, and we need to have the mentality that this is a must-win game, because it is a must-win game. There's a potential that Arsenal are going to drop more points on the weekend, and if we win, we can step up and get into the top 4 again here really, really soon. But we have to rely on ourselves to do that. We cannot continue to go on poor form, and we cannot continue to do what we have been doing. So this is a must-win game against West Ham. Not even a question. This is a must-win game. Don't be dissing Mark Noble. I mean, listen, Matthew, we'll diss whoever we want, right? But anyways, let's go ahead and let's talk about Manchester United at the moment. I mean, we've got quite a few players suspended in this match. I shouldn't say that. We've got a couple of players suspended. Then I've also got questions about who's going to start the match. So, I mean, Matthew, how do you see us really going at this game? I mean, do you think that we're going to see anybody that's going to really stand out in this match?
I'm not 100% sure, really. Well, the problem is, like, a lot of our attackers are just in such bad form at the moment. Martial's done nothing for as long as I can remember, and I'm starting to worry about him. Rashford's done nothing. I don't think he should play, because apparently he was ill during that game, and I don't get why you'd start a player who's ill. Beats me. And then there's Lukaku, who, just Lukaku. In terms of players who are going to do well for us, I can't wait to see who starts at right back, because I just know for a fact they're not going to be worse than Ashley Young. So at least that's going to be a positive. I think if we keep our... it's such a tricky situation, and this was the kind of thing that I was dreading about getting a decent result in the first leg, or like a result that we can overturn in the first leg, is that who do we actually start in the West Ham game? Because on paper, the West Ham game is more important because it's a gateway to top 4. But then again, there's that Champions League tie where you might want to start your strongest team and maybe try and get a comeback. But then again, it's 3 days after the West Ham game, so I can imagine it being a massive headache for Ole. I'd probably start the strongest team against West Ham, because again, like I said, it's our means of getting into Champions League, and it's the most realistic way of doing so.
Yep.
So I'd probably start the same midfield. You know, Pogba, McTominay, and Fred, they seemed to do absolutely amazing last time around. And for some reason, I'm pretty sure that was the same midfield that started against West Ham away from home when McTominay was in a back 3, and I think we lost 3-0. That was one of the worst games of the season.
That was the moment that I think a lot of people did finally turn on Mourinho.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was I think the final nail in the coffin for us all. I only remember that because that was 1 week before seeing Newcastle. So yeah, I'd probably start the same midfield. In terms of attackers, I definitely have Greenwood, Chong, Gomez, a couple of those 3 on the bench.
Yep.
No doubt about it, just so that, you know, likes of Rashford, maybe even Martial, Lukaku can all stay completely 100% fit for that game. Because if we're going to, you know, try and get a comeback, we're going to need the likes of Rashford, going to need the likes of Martial, going to need the likes of Lukaku to actually be on top form. So making sure that they're kind of fresh, I think, is a bit of a priority. But you've got to start one of them at least. So in terms of a lineup prediction, I really don't know. I honestly don't know what formation we're going to play, who we're going to play. I mean, anyone's guess could be as good as mine. I think it's not good. I think it's not good comment from Dan. It said, I don't know why, but I think Jones will start right back. I will dread that. I will absolutely dread that, but I've got a funny feeling it's going to happen.
Dan's also talking about that he remembers Goldberg's meltdown from the 3-0 loss. Yeah, that was the moment that Mark also did finally turn on Mourinho. I remember that game.
To be fair, he did turn on Mourinho before that, but in private.
Yes.
Bit of insider info there.
Yes. It was private that he was starting to like really kind of start to turn on him. He just didn't want to go public with it. But that was the match where he went public with, it's time to be Mourinho out. I remember that very, very well. Very, very well. Listen, and Matthew, this is the interesting part. I think we have a chance in this game to actually let our youth have a chance in this game. Because I think that you need to have some of your top players. I think that Rashford in particular is somebody that needs to be rested in this game and be fully ready for Barcelona. Now, at the same time, I also get the argument behind needing to get them back on form. And the more you play, the more likely you are of getting back on form. So I think this is a game where we could finally see, quite a few extra minutes from people, from somebody like Greenwood, somebody like Chong, somebody like Gomez. I could see it happening. But the question is will it actually happen? Because we've heard it so many times from Ollie that these youth players are ready and that he didn't allow them to go out on loan because he said that they were ready and he wants them to be playing. So when is the time that they're finally going to get the chance to play? That is my question. This is the time. We got a tie against Barcelona on Tuesday. We need to be ready for it. So it's just a matter of finally giving them the chance. I want to see it. I want to see our youth play. I want to see how they do against a team like West Ham. West Ham are no easy side, and I just want to see it. I think it's time to see it. So it should be interesting to see what will happen in this match. So Matthew, I mean, let's just do a predicted 11 together. So we start on goal. There's no way De Gea is not starting.
Yep,
yeah. The interesting one is going to be who's going to start at right back. I'm going to make the prediction that it's going to be Darmian to start at right back.
Oh, I've got no idea. I've got absolutely no idea. Is Shaw suspended for the domestic games?
Yes.
You know what? Because Dan mentioned it, and I think it's quite a fair point, I think it's going to be Jones.
You think Phil Jones is going to be the right back?
I don't know if he's going to be the right back, but I think he's going to a team. I think we might go with a 3-5-2. And I'd maybe say Deleuze as right wing back.
Okay.
But then again, there's no one who's going to play left wing back. Right, scrap that. I think Jones is going to start right back, unfortunately. It could be Smalling and Lindelof. And left back, I mean, it could be anyone. Could be Darmian, could be Rojo, could be...
Oh, I've got an interesting prediction for you for left back, Matthew. Trust me, I do. But there's a reason why I'm saying that. I'm saying Deleuze's going to be left back.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So I think that Darmian right back and Deleuze left back. I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then, I mean, center back partnership, what are you going to go with?
I'll go Smalling and Lindelof.
Yep. I think pretty much everybody's going to be on the same page with that one. Smalling and Lindelof.
They're strong duo, might as well.
Yeah, they're playing well together. You can't. I don't think it's a time to really split them up. Now we move on to the midfield, which this is where things get interesting because Matic and Herrera are both available and ready and healthy. Fred and McTominay just put in two of the best midfield performances we've had in a while. And granted, that did come down to the fact that Pogba was being double-teamed. But at the same time, I mean, listen, you got to have questions about who's going to start. So what is going to be your midfield three you were going to predict, Matthew?
No, I'm going to keep it very, very quick and simple. McTominay, Fred, Pogba.
I'm going the same way, man. I don't know why. I've got a feeling we're going to see it again. Or the only mix-up I could see happening is I could see Pereira being played instead of Fred.
I was going to say Pereira instead of Pogba.
I could see that one too, to keep him fresh and ready for the Barcelona match. But I think that Pogba is somebody that almost can't be dropped. I mean, I could see it either way, but I mean that's just me, Matthew. I do think we will see Fred, McTominay, and Pogba in that midfield three. And then lastly but not leastly, I mean, how are you going to say we're going to do? Are we going to do a 4-3-3? Or we're going to do a 4-4-2 diamond? What do you think we're going to do, Matthew?
Right. I really don't know, to be honest. I'm just trying to think who would actually start. I've just got a horrible feeling Mata's going to start. And we all know how slow Mata is.
Like we've talked about, Matthew, I'm pretty sure that you and I are both faster than Juan Mata at this stage in his career. So it says a lot.
I was trying to think of a witty pun of things that could be faster than Juan Mata. Internet Explorer, that's something that's faster than him.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. Not facts.
Never
on the Red Bearded Red channel. That's what we deal in.
Right. But yeah, I've just got a horrible feeling he's going to start. I think it's going to be Mata, Lukaku, and Martial.
So I think that we're going to see a little bit of a surprise, Matthew. I think that we're going to see Lingard start. Did you say no?
I said yeah.
Oh,
yeah, sure.
I thought you were saying nope. I was like, wait, what? Am I missing something here? But Jesse Lingard's going to start. I'm going to say Anthony Martial is going to start on the left. My question then becomes, who is going to start up top? And I've gone back and forth between Rashford starting up top, between Lukaku starting up top. I've even thought about putting Greenwood up top. And ultimately, I'm going to go ahead because we do love a spicy opinion on the Red Bearded Red channel. And I'm going to say that Mason Greenwood is going to get his first ever Premier League start against West Ham. And he will be leading the line against West Ham for Manchester United. Spicy opinions on the Red Bearded Red channel. This is what we do, people. This is what we do. So, let's see if it actually happens, because it's going to be wrong. I already know it's going to be wrong, but you know what? We at least had the spicy opinion out there. I want to see Mason Greenwood start. I want to see this kid right here. I've literally got my finger on his face. See it? It's right here. It's so beautiful. And by the way, a little bit of a quick sell. You can get this on offsidegraphics.com. The guy that runs it may or may not be on this channel. Look at that.
Yeah.
Product placement. Matthew, when am I going to get my check?
Yeah. Less said about that, the better. I'll take it for dinner, Arizona. Don't you worry about that.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
Damn right.
We're trying to get sponsors on the Red Bearded Red channel, people. We need them. When are they coming? Probably never. But you know what? That's okay.
Well, I mean, since Aaron's got himself the Iron Brew, bars drinks, if you want to sponsor the stream, go ahead.
Yes. What you don't know is Aaron and I are actually working on a beer. Fun stuff. Anyways, Matthew, so lastly but not leastly, give me your score prediction and how you think the match is going to go.
Score prediction, right. You know what? I'm going to go for a bold prediction and say a 4-2 win. It was the same prediction Ash Boyle gave on the Talking Man United podcast, and I heard that and I thought, that sounds good. That actually, for some reason, sounds realistic.
I can see it.
Game, and we don't typically do quite well at home. I just think this is going to be a game where people are going to be up for it.
We need to be up for it too, because we need to win.
Yeah.
We need to win. I'm going to predict that we're going to win this match 2-0. 2-0, and Mason Greenwood is going to get a goal. That's how spicy the predictions are getting. Not only is he going to start, he's getting a goal in his first start. And we only deal in facts on the Redbeard Red channel, people, so it's going to happen. Please. Please, God, please, please. Anyways, people, my wife and I, we have to start heading off because we have to go to her doctor's appointment because baby Olivia is due June 7th, people. You guys will be seeing her soon. I can promise you that. It's only a matter of time. Hopefully she comes right on time. I'd love to see it. But Matthew, thank you as always for joining me, my friend. I'm sorry I'm not reading your guys' scores out. Please do drop a like on the video. But Matthew, I kind of shouted out some posters here, but I mean, you could go ahead and you can sell yourself.
Sell myself? Oof.
Yes. Yes.
YouTube. Right, so yeah, I've had a big spike in sales recently, so that's pretty nice. I gave away a free Lindelof poster because my stupid ass decided to tell the print shop I wanted an A2 one printed off. and guess who made the same mistake again? Yeah, 2 days in a row I've done that, so that's shocking. But yeah, if you want yourself a correctly sized poster, no doubt about that, then go on down to offsidegraphics.com and get yourself a print.
Definitely will not be off-size when it's sent to you. Can promise.
Definitely. Nope. Not at all.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us. I really do hope that you enjoyed the show. I've got to go ahead and go get some shoes on, but I really do hope that you all have a great night, a great day. Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, keep doing you, because I love you guys, and you guys are awesome. Catch you later.